Hello garden friends, and welcome to my channel, DK's Garden Oasis. I'm Debbie, Master Gardener and Butterfly Raising Hobbyist. On this channel, I hope to inspire you to bloom, grow, and conserve in your garden. I wanted to do a little bit of trivia to get to know me a little better. So I love to travel, I love nature and seeing beautiful landscapes, and also you're seeing four-legged creatures, winged creatures, and finch. I'm going to name a few of my favorites. It's hard to narrow down, but I will give you some of my favorites. So for the four-legged creatures, of course, for me, it's dogs. I've had dogs most of my life. For your winged creatures, I can't name one or two, really. I love eagles, bald eagles, and I also love the monarchs and also hummingbirds. Those are three of my favorite winged creatures. And for the finned categories, I absolutely love seahorses. I don't know what my fascination is, but when I was little, I got them in a little kit with some shells, and ever since then, I love to see the little seahorses. But basically, I like anything that you would see on National Geographic Channel. I would also like to take art lessons. I'm a creative person more than an analytical person, so I've been drawing since I was a little kid, but I would like to develop that a little further and maybe try some watercolors or sketching. So I would love to do that one day. I would love to learn to play piano. I don't know how to read music, but I would love one day to learn to play the piano. What's that saying? You're never too old to learn something new. So that's a little bit of trivia about me. I also wanted to thank my new and existing subscribers, as I've gotten quite a few in the last couple weeks, and that's why I wanted to add a little bit of trivia just so you get to know me a little better. So let's get back to what this video is about. So I'm going to take you on a mid-July summer garden tour. Finally, the garden is coming alive. It's still a little behind, but I do have a little bit of weeding, but today it's a rainy day, so I did go around my garden yesterday and filmed most of my garden. So in the next month, in August, it will be in full swing. Make sure you stay till the end where I share an interesting fact about weeding and exercise. So stay tuned for that. So I feel like this season has been a little bit challenging. We had a long winter, cold and damp and rainy, and then it went right to summer heat and a drought. So it's been a little bit difficult in the garden. Things were a little behind in the spring. It was too cold, and then it went right to heat. So all the spring or cool season flowers did not thrive like my ranunculus and anemones because it got too hot. So I do have on order some hoops and some shade cloth and frost cloth as well. So I will be putting those up, the hoops up in the winter time, so that I can have my ranunculus under cover in the spring. So then in a couple of weeks ago, we had an air quality alert because of the Canadian fires, and the skies were awful, and they said not to be outside, as if you were outside all day, it was like smoking a pack of cigarettes. So that was difficult for a few days. How's it been by you? And I am gardening in 4 areas, so I have my own home garden, I have 2 raised beds in a community garden, and I also have a farm in-ground garden where I plant potatoes and I have pumpkins there, sunflowers. So yeah, I have quite a few areas that I have to garden in. Did I bite off more than I could chew? Yeah, probably. But I consider this a learning year, so I know now next year what not to grow. And that is, I won't be doing the vegetable starts anymore. I am going to just do maybe a few herbs. I just found that that was just too much. I need to focus on one thing, and I'm going to focus on cut flowers. And I'll talk about that as the season progresses, what flowers and herbs I'll be growing next year later in the season. I'm hoping to get out to Baker Creek and do a field trip there, and I will be taking you along on that field trip. So let me show you around my garden that I filmed yesterday. Okay, we're going to start the garden tour at the crabapple garden. Now excuse the weeds. I was going to try to get to those today, but it looks like there's some rain coming in, so I wanted to get this garden tour in before it starts pouring here. So I have some catmint over there that needs to be cut back, and that is lamb's ear, Artemisia, hostas, goldenrod, some peonies that already bloomed. I also have an almond tree right here, and like I said, some salvia that needs to be cut back here. This is the area that I need to weed. I have some monarda, and I have some allium, hydrangea, and this year the milkweed, the common milkweed, went crazy. So I have lots of milkweed for the monarchs, and in my short video I just showed you that I am finding eggs and caterpillars on my milkweed. So this is my crabapple garden. I am still attempting to grow some asparagus. My third year was in this right corner and it did not come back. So I'm going to try, I'm not going to grow any new asparagus. I'm going to see if these come back in the next couple years, and if not, I won't be growing asparagus. So if you have any tricks to growing asparagus, leave it in the comments below. I did plant some garlic here and nothing came up, so I planted some strawberries, and as you can see I do have some garlic growing. So we will check those out when the leaves die. They say when the leaves die is when you pull the garlic. And I have a few strawberries, not many, that came up. This is my best one that grew, Ozark. The one over here was called Eversweet, and I believe I only have one plant that I got out of that. Wind's starting to pick up here, so hopefully it doesn't start raining on us. So that one, as I said, was Ozark. And this is not Honai. Honai is probably this little one right here. I did get other ones from the garden center, and that's what these bigger ones are. I have a couple of hanging baskets that have strawberries as well. And now I will go up to my deck area and show you what I have growing here. So I'm going to leave a link above where what I planted in these. So my theme is red, white, and green. So I have some verbena and alyssum and some daisy-like flowers here, and I will try to find what those are. Then I have some elephant ears. Now this is not the ones that I actually planted. They are just starting to come up now, so I went and bought the actual plant because it was taking too long. So I have petunias in here and some coleuses. Here's my next one, my red, green, and white with some canna. Here's some petunias as well with some angelonia. Some more coleuses and some calabacroa and some petunias, coleuses and canna. This is a repeat of the other red one. Some more petunias and angelonia, coleuses and cannas, and then a repeat of my elephant ear and my potato vine and some petunias. So in this area right here, there are some weeds, and the taller, I believe, are going to be dahlias that are coming back up. That's what the leaves look like. I did get some sweet peas, and what I planted in here now is sunflowers and some zinnias. So the next garden tour, those should be up and blooming. And then a repeat of my hanging basket here. Some more. These plants right here are, as if you don't know, I am a master gardener, so you have to do continuing education, and these are the plants they told me to get. So I have some Gara, alyssum, some verbena, salvia, moss roses, and then of course milkweed. And there are some eggs on this swamp milkweed.
I have a couple of tomato plants here that definitely need some water, which we'll be getting soon. This is my good-hearted tomato, which that's as big as it gets, and it has many cherry tomatoes. So this is one of our favorites. I have a couple of garden boxes that I just filled with onion, cilantro, basil, rosemary, and oregano. My blueberry bushes don't look so good here, so I am going to probably cut those and see if I can salvage these, but they might be not going to make it. They did come back in the spring, but then something happened and now obviously they don't look so good right now. These are just all of my random pots that I did in different colors, not my red, white, and green theme. So I have some Gerber daisies, vermilion, which the hummingbirds, that's this plant right here that the hummingbirds absolutely love, calibrachoa, some more salvia, and I thought this was really cool, this flower. And then I do have some more dill, and if you look really close, I will try. There are some eggs here. So I will, after the rain, I will probably take those and put them in my veggie pot. So there's some hibiscus back here. And then these are my peppers. I have some asters down here. Some dahlias. That is my eucalyptus. And then a repeat over here of my vermilion, my calibrachoa, and my Gerber daisy. So let's go down to my sunken garden and show you what's there. So this is what I call my sunken garden, and I have a pawpaw tree right here, a butterfly bush, and I am going to change this all to perennials. I did have some annuals here, but the bunnies ate everything. So I am now putting some perennials, and hopefully they will be good. So far they look like they haven't really touched them. I have a coneflower, some hollyhock. They definitely don't seem to bother those. And these are more perennials that I put in here. There's going to be a cardinal flower back here. And then of course I have some Rose of Sharon. I have a 9-bark back there. A maple tree that's getting pretty tall now. And a 7-flower bush is what I'm going to be calling it. So these little things will be flowers pretty soon, little white flowers. And then I have my hanging baskets, and again I will post that link above to that video of what is in these hanging baskets. I did change some things around that didn't look very good in there, like I put this little vine in here. I do have some Joe Pye weed in here, some phlox, some allium, bee balm. I have a coneflower that just decided to pop up in here. That's still my trumpet vine back there that I trimmed up, that the hummingbirds really love. There's some clematis back there that have already bloomed. This was an iris, lilies of the valley. This is all of my Queen Anne's lace, dill, and milkweed. I'm going to be putting all my different kinds of milkweed or host plants in this area by my fountain. I have another coneflower, volunteer coneflower, and some Queen Anne's lace that decided to seed here. Some Rose of Sharon, and this area will all be my, I planted all of my winter sowing butterfly plants in here. So there will be lots of yarrow, and I'm trying to think of what this purple flower is. I will have to look it up and put it above. I cut back my rue. This right here with the yellow is dill. I have a yellow coneflower back there, and then of course your traditional purple coneflowers that the bunnies are eating the leaves, and then they chop down half of it in the blooms like this right here. So they'll eat the leaves and then they will leave the rest and it falls over. So not too happy about that. Here is another, looks like a red coneflower in here. And then some yarrow. There's quite a few different yarrows here, but it doesn't look like much right now because I just planted it. So next year this area should fill out more. Now let's go to our front garden. So now we're coming around to my front entrance where I have 2 planter boxes. And again, I did purchase these elephant ears, and I repotted the elephant ears that were in here in pots, and they're starting to grow, but very slowly. So I will next year, if I grow elephant ears, make sure that I pre-sprout those ahead of time. So these are my 2 planter boxes, and I have petunias in this one, and the other one I have some phlox and lemon trees. I have 2 of those, and a pineapple that survives. I bring it in every winter and it does survive. I initially the first year had a little pineapple and it made a baby, so I have 2 plants here but no pineapples yet. And then I will link the video above of me putting in the drip. So this area I have a couple of hanging baskets, Boston ferns, and these are all hooked to drip. So I have some petunias, calibrachoa, verbena, and I've got some vines here, and I do have some caladiums that are just coming up. Again, those took a while for those to come up. So eventually next month when I show you a garden tour, I'm sure they will be up and you can enjoy those. Right now I just see this one right here. And then I have another planter over here where I have some straw flowers, a mandevilla, some petunias, and in the back I have some calibrachoa, some petunias as well, and lots again of milkweed. I found quite a few monarch eggs on these milkweed. This is common milkweed, and this is the last area. This is the front of my house, so I have some lilies, and again, excuse the weeds. This is another little area that I've got to get to. I have a cherry tree. There's a peony and a lily that already bloomed. I have some hydrangeas. These are wee white hydrangeas. Another lily. I have a sedum. There's a hibiscus in the back that's not quite in bloom yet, with some lilies and some hydrangeas. And then another hanging basket off there in the distance. And I do have some hydrangeas back there and more peonies. So now we'll end the tour going from this direction by the crabapple. So again, I've got to cut this catmint. The bees absolutely love this catmint. So I hate to cut it down, but it looks like the center is good, so I will cut that down for the bees. I've got a perennial geranium, lamb's ear, and again, there's some hostas here, monarda towards the back, some salvia, and some lilies. So that's it for my mid-July summer garden tour. So as you can see, they're
The gardens are coming along, but there are some areas that need to fill in more. And as I said, I'm going to be changing around my sunken garden. I usually put annuals there, but the bunnies just seem to be eating everything. So I'm going to change it to perennials. And they do go after some of the perennials as well, but not as many. So I'm going to be changing that area over, and it's going to take some time to fill in. By August, all of my garden should be in its prime. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell for those future videos. So I will be doing a couple of videos coming up, one on raising black swallowtails and one on raising monarchs. I did a couple of videos last year, and you can check out those, and I'll put in the description box below if you want to check out those that I did last year. And I kind of broke it down into egg, caterpillar, chrysalis, and then overwintering. And this year I'm just going to be doing raising the black swallowtails, and then later on in the season overwintering and tagging monarchs. So make sure you check out those videos that are coming up soon. Now I want to share that interesting fact about exercise and weeding. Well, that's good to know that I'm burning a lot of calories weeding. I have a lot of that to do. Who knew? So thanks for watching, and happy gardening, everybody. Bye-bye.